The WWE holds its biggest show of the year every April. WrestleMania is the Super Bowl or World Cup of wrestling, an event that launched a niche form of stage sports from a myriad of locally popular carny shows to a glitzy, flashy, worldwide phenomena. Yes, I know there was World of Sport and things like that, but this was the real deal, a global phenomenon. And come WrestleMania season, WWE's biggest names collide in epic, hugely choreographed spectaculars with the aid of loads of celebrities and a card that seemingly lasts for about half a year. Actually, nowadays, it's about 7 to 8 hours. It's a tough watch, I'll be honest. It's also an event that shares its name with the first wrestling game that I ever owned, WWF Wrestlemania Challenge. Yes, on the NES. I was an English person who had a NES. That's apparently rarer than hen's teeth or dolphin pubic hair, I'm told. Wrestlemania Challenge was the second WWF video game on the Nintendo Entertainment System and the second released by LJN. Yes, those people that the Angry Video Game Nerd has done a few videos about. It was also the second game programmed by none other than Rare. Rare were just finding their feet on the home consoles after their Ultimate Play the Game days on the Micros at this stage, with, well, mixed success on the NES. RC Pro-Am, Snake Rattle and Roll, Cobra Triangle, Marble Madness, and of course the legendary Battletoads were notably brilliant Nintendo games, whereas Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Wheel of Fortune, and the first WrestleMania game, well, not so much, or not at all. A lot of those games are about as fun as headbutting a bucket of upturned wasps. WrestleMania Challenge was very different from its predecessor in its look, with an isometric viewpoint that resembled a lot of their very best work on the Spectrum, and of course some of their better Nintendo games too. But it does look a little bit, well, sparse. There are great voids on all sides of the ring, between the squared circle and the crowd. The wrestling ring itself looks like a nucleus inside an atom, only with Brutus the Barber Beefcake acting as one of the quarks. There's a bit of a nerdy science thing there. I do like that the energy bars are placed on the side of the ring. That is a good use of space, unlike this goddamn expanse. Graphically, other than the ringside abyss, we have these fun little representatives of the finest that 1990 to 1991's iteration of the WWF had to offer. As a child, I was captivated by this title screen. This is none other than the Ultimate Warrior, but also it looks a bit like Nick Cage wearing a lion's mane. And he has the pained expression of a man whose breast is imploding. Look at his boob! Sir, your mammary is eating itself from within! So who else do we have on the roster? Well, we've got the aforementioned Ultimate Warrior, still with both breasts, along with bearded simian Macho Man Randy Savage, the lusted mustachioed sex case that is ravishing Rick Rude, the mall cop Big Boss Man, him out of Princess Bride Andre the Giant, the seemingly rather intellectually challenged Jim Duggan, minus his little plank, wannabe Nicky Clark, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and obviously old hot dog skin banana lips himself, Hulk-Hory Ho-Ho Hogan, has to make his obligatory early 90s appearance. Oh, and yourself. Yes, that's apparently you. Are you that guy? Are you? Does that look like you? Doesn't look like me. But that is you, apparently, because you're not able to customise yourself. So you better get yourself in some nice, comfortable burgundy Y-fronts. And maybe dye your hair, and possibly your skin, and change your genitals if you're a girl. Yourself and his doppelganger, also called Yourself, are the only characters capable of competing in the multi-match actual WrestleMania Challenge. That's the name of the game, you see. for championships. You can be Andre and the rest in Exhibition's mind, including a Survivor Series 3-on-3 elimination match, another big event in the wrestling calendar, and also the original working title for this game. Sound consists of chiptune versions of entrance music, including Rick Rude's sex music here. These play during the gameplay itself, usually for the character who is in the ascendancy. As for gameplay, well, it might look like the legendary Fire Pro Wrestling series, but it sure doesn't play like it. The AI of your computerized opponents is a little desperate at times. They spend a significant amount of time darting around the place in a confused state, a bit like a bamboozled fly at a window in the summer. So you have to chase after them, and every now and again they decide to stop being confused, turn around and fling you to the ground for daring to follow them about. I would do much the same if someone was following me about trying to throw me around, so fair play to them. Movesets are tiny. There's a grapple that you can do behind them, a grapple you can do in front of them, a few strikes, a special move performed by pressing A and B together, an attack you can do from the top rope, and one standing over their prone body. Ooh, misses. And you can also do a pin, and that's it. Those few moves are the level of complexity we're dealing with. There's no counters or anything like that, or any submission moves. It's very, very simple. And the story mode, if you can call it that, is very short-lived. So it's a disappointment then to a fan base used to the flashiness of the televised product, and after a fantastic pair of techno arcade games that eclipsed all the video games up until the N64 and PlayStation era. That said, if you liked WWF, this was the best of the 4 wrestling games you could get for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it's possibly the best 8-bit WWF game also. The main problem with Wrestlemania Challenge is that, even bearing in mind the hardware limitations of the Nintendo 8-bit system, there's very little to talk about with this game. It's a 5-minute distraction at best in the modern age. After those 5 minutes, you've seen everything that this game has to offer. Rare, before this and after it, are specialists at creating rich worlds and creative ideas. When they're confined to the WWE and its canvases, they struggle. The game is as devoid of content as the expanse by the ringside, or on top of Hulk Hogan's skullet. A shame. Reviews for WrestleMania Challenge were pretty kind, to be fair. Computer and Video Games gave it 82 out of 100, and Mean Machines gave it an 80 out of 100. I think that's a little bit overrated, but you know what? We're looking at stuff back through the lens of time, aren't we? So, like I said, it is the best WWF game on the 8-bits, but I think you're best off with Tecmo World Wrestling. Though lacking that official license frippery, it was a far better wrestling game for the Nintendo. Look, if you squint a bit, you can pretend that Julio Falco looks like Hulk Hogan. Just like really narrow your eyes, and then you could go and perhaps watch a video that I made about that and some other Hulk Hogan clones in other video games with that link there. Plug.